So I was thinking to myself about an analogy that I recently heard about ADHD and how it feels compared to neurotypical people. And it's essentially everybody has this bag filled with marbles, and people with ADHD, their bag has a bunch of holes in it. So neurotypical people, or at least people who don't have ADHD, are walking around doing all their tasks, going to work, finishing their work on their computer, doing their laundry, brushing their teeth, and they look at people with ADHD and they're like, why are you struggling so much? Why are you taking so long to do the simplest of things? But they don't see that we have like 5 billion holes in our bag and our marbles keep falling out. And so we are doing these day-to-day tasks like doing our laundry or brushing our teeth whilst also picking up our marbles, putting them back in the bag, and then more marbles are falling out, so we're picking them up again and putting them back in the bag. But it's not just that perpetual cycle of picking up the marbles and putting them back in the bag whilst doing something else. It's not just that multitasking of we have so many thoughts and we have to come back to our current task, but it's also the stress of, oh my gosh, another marble is gonna fall out, of, oh my gosh, I can't focus, everything is so difficult. It's not just the in the moment thought of distraction, those thoughts that pop up that are distracting us from the current situation of what we're trying to get done, but it's also the kind of dread that I feel like a lot of people don't talk about with ADHD, that we know it's a problem. We know that it's, I guess, coming, that we're going to try to do this thing and we're going to have this positive mentality of I can get this done, and then, ADHD swoops in. And of course, there are coping mechanisms, healthy coping mechanisms like meditation and whatnot, that can structure in a better routine, a better environment for your brain to thrive in whatever situation you're in when you have ADHD. Because it really is the environment. I think having ADHD is like having a particular species of seed, I don't know if you say species for seeds. I think that's just animals, but you get what I mean. But it's just like having a very particular seed, and that seed needs a very particular environment in order to thrive. It can probably survive in whatever environment, but it won't do very well. It will look like it's an ugly or sad plant, when in reality it could be extremely beautiful for the surrounding ecosystem if tended to properly. But yeah, I was thinking about that, and see, honestly, I forgot what else I wanted to talk about, but that's the pro and the con about ADHD. Like, you can find so many different things to talk about, but at the same time, you go from topic to topic that you don't even remember the original topic. I've had times where somebody responds to what I said, and then I had to ask them what I said, because I don't know what they're responding to. But anyway, yeah, maybe I'll just leave it at that marble thing, but I hope that made sense. Maybe be nicer to your ADHD friends. Ask them what you can do to help. Because I will say, it kind of does help, like I said, having that different environment. I've heard of people who take medication, particularly stimulant medication for ADHD, to work on something say, on their laptop at home. But when he had started working in an environment where it was multiple people around him, there was constant engagement, he didn't feel like he needed the medication anymore because there was more dopamine within his environment. And from what I've heard, ADHD symptoms can really be linked down to having naturally low dopamine. So everybody else's dopamine is kind of at this neutral state, and we're just like, so that's why it's easier for people with ADHD to be addicted to things, because they are just trying to get to that neutral state of dopamine levels that it just feels impossible to get to. Hence why stimulants make them feel normal, because it stimulates their dopamine receptors, and so they feel normal. Whereas somebody who doesn't have ADHD would feel like kind of cracked out a little bit. But I'm using my laptop as a back screen, so excuse that. But yeah, the environment that he was in when he was around other people and they were going back and forth and talking about things, it was a lot more stimulating. It was a lot more exciting. So he didn't feel like he needed the medication anymore because the environment was different. Essentially, that seed that needed a better environment to be cultivated in had that environment, as opposed to maybe working from home where you don't have that high dopamine, high stimulating environment. So you need something that is leveling out that dopamine because you don't have it outside of you. So you kind of got to get it inside of you. And of course, like meditation, like lowering your intake of fast dopamine could really help. But of course, that's really difficult when you are at home and say you work at home or something. It's a lot harder to have things like that. And I haven't looked that much into it, but I also feel like things like, I don't know what it's called, but you know, essentially like a lifestyle interventionalist, like somebody that would help structure your life, like structure your day, is what you're gonna do, how you're gonna do it, XYZ, because people with ADHD kind of need a structure, even though we don't want it, because we're like, we want something exciting, but we kind of do need that structure to be able to get things done. I like to think of, one, procrastination that highly motivates you, but two, I feel like the one thing that school was so great for me the one thing that school was great for me, what? Can I English? You get what I mean. The one reason school was so great for me was because we would take one class and say, you're focusing on this for X amount of time, and then in another class you focus on this for X amount of time, and if you don't finish, that's fine, you can work on it tomorrow. But it was the fact that, one, we were told to only focus on that for 45 minutes, and the fact that everybody else was focusing on that. So I think that kind of helped create that environment. But of course, it's also depends on how engaging the teacher was. Sometimes it was very easy to not pay attention and just like talk the whole time. But I think that kind of does help to a degree, having a set place where you know you're going to be focusing on one thing, as opposed to at home. It's so easy to just go, oh, I'm gonna watch TV shows because that's what I do at home. This isn't a place of studying. So doing like homework and stuff or whatnot is very difficult because you're used to home being the place that you associate with relaxation, not work. So yeah, but anyway, that was just a little ramble, but I hope that was nice. I was just talking to myself and I was like, maybe this would be nice to record, but I hope that made sense. Let me know if anything didn't make sense so I can rephrase or restructure Yeah. Thank you for being here. Excuse my bonnet and my little... I look funky, but that's the vibe, you know? Sometimes you gotta be funky in order to have fun and motivate yourself to do anything, so... This is your sign to just do it. This is not a paid promotion by Nike. Oh, dear. Yeah. No, but literally. Because I feel like I have it so ingrained in my brain that I have to show up in a particular manner in order to do anything, but, like, just do it, you know? It sounds so cheesy. I wish Nike didn't have that as their slogan, because you really do just gotta do it sometimes, but I always cringe because I always think of Nike. I don't know, I'm just not a huge name brand type person, but anyway, I digress. Nothing against Nike, it's just... Anyway, I hope you have a lovely day. Thank you for being here. I hope you got something from this video. At least a little laugh. Thank you for being here. I think I already said that, but goodbye now.